Hello everyone, welcome to Just K, where we talk about everything that is health from a mind, body, and soul perspective. To all my subscribers, I love you, love you, love you, and thank you for joining me again. If you're new here, consider clicking that subscribe button and sit back and get comfortable while we talk about everything that is health. We've been talking about spiritual health. It's one of the first things you want to think about when we think about good health overall. In our last video, I compared some stories, some modern stories that you may be familiar with, to some of the stories of the ancient Egyptians as well as the Yoruba people of Nigeria. As I told the story of both the Orisha and the deities of ancient Egypt, we see that there are similarities that relate to the two. And they talk about the energies that play in this universe today. So I've got my notes here, and let's go through this. Let's start with energy. Basically, what energy is the property of objects which can be transferred to other objects or converted into different forms, but cannot be created or destroyed. When we think about science, we know that there's many forms of energy, and it comes in basically two different types: kinetic energy or moving energy, potential energy, which is energy that has not yet moved, but it's all energy. Organisms, which is an individual, plant, animal, or single-celled thing, item, object, use energy to survive. Every biological process requires energy. Some energy has a positive impact, some energy produces a negative one. An example would be ashe. Ashe is the word that we now know is used to, it's the natural force needed for change. Ashe is possessed by humans and deities. It's everything in nature, from lightning and hurricanes to the blood in your body to your very name. But it can be used for either positive or negative. In Yoruba, there is a term, and because I can't pronounce it, it's right here at the bottom of my screen. And it's a term that is used for negative forces that cause harm, accidents, injury, and general calamity to individuals. They're considered deities to be avoided because they cannot be responded, they cannot be reasoned with. In the Igbo tradition, they call it Mo, and they roam and either protect or cause mischief to individuals. There is also one called Exwenzi. I hope I pronounced that right. But that is an evil spirit that is likened to Satan in Christianity. When we think about the Egyptian stories, we think about Set, who is depicted as a troublemaker with a jealous nature that causes trouble. Or the Phosis, who is an evil spirit appearing as a serpent and is associated with things like total eclipse or earthquakes. He also can't be reasoned, or it also can't be reasoned with. Then of course there's always Satan of Christianity. The basic African belief or Yoruba belief is that life is a continuous cycle of existence in many forms of physical bodies, while the spirit or breath evolves towards transcendence. All humans pass through destiny or fate and eventually are expected to become one with the divine creation. The belief is that every action or thought of an individual in the physical realm interacts with other living things in the spiritual sphere, all trying to achieve destiny. The goal of the spiritualities is to focus on living a good life rather than salvation. That process was also part of the ancient Egyptian, both spiritual and medical process. These principles have existed since at least 750 BC. They were originally adopted by the Greeks, who the Europeans then adopted these medical practices. The word prescription, when you see the sign RX, that actually means retrograde in astrology. The thought process of these were Opposite principles control the life of the universe. Perfect, imperfect, positive, negative. They thought that the elements of creation were water, they called it Nun, fire, Atum, earth, Ta, and that Atum is the god of the sun or the god of fire, and he projected from himself air or Shu, water, Nun, Geb, earth, or Nut, which was sky. And in turn, those elements gave birth to Osiris, Isis, and Set, who was the opposite of good, and Nephthys, who is considered the unseen world, the things that you cannot see. Knowing all of these things and looking deep in and seeing the truth, when we look at these older religions that have been vilified but seem to be telling the same stories with different names and maybe different settings depending on the culture, makes me ask myself something, and now I want to ask you. Is God a word for our creator like Olodumare rather than an entity that takes human form? Is Satan a representation of the negative energies in this world rather than a serpent coming to do you harm? Does Jesus speak of transcendence into that higher knowledge rather than a living person? When we think about the stronghold that Christianity has on the society today, and the various forms of religions in general, I see some patterns with our ancient spiritualities minus doctrine and promise of salvation. In the next video, we're going to take a look at that and see. Here's the thing, guys. 2021 is not going to just suddenly be better than 2020. Whether you have a fight for justice, a fight for equality, or you're just trying to get by, those things require good health. You can exercise all you want to. If your mind is not right and your soul is not right, you're not healthy. You can meditate all you want to. If your body is not right and your soul is not right, you're not healthy. You can go to church 5 nights a week. But if your body's not right and your mind is not right, you're not healthy. So let's dig into this, guys, because we want to be healthy, happy, and prosperous together. In our next video, let's look at Christianity. We know it has benefits. Let's look at those benefits. The goal here is, no matter what you believe in, find the rightness in that thing so that you can elevate yourself. I can't wait to see you next time. Thank you again. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and that like button. If you have comments, questions, hit me up in the comments below. A little shy? DM me from Instagram. I'm there for you. Until then.